So, good morning, everyone. Um, so I have some news. For my family and friends, and it's not the easiest news to deliver. But I'll try not to cry harder. So the last few days I've been up and down with this. I guess I'll just get on with telling you guys. So let me begin by telling you a little story. I'll start at the beginning. Because I don't know where it went wrong. I don't know. Just reviewing the signs and symptoms of cervical cancer, I didn't have any. The only one I really had that stood out to me was having irregular periods. My whole life I've been pretty regular. I could tell you the exact date I was gonna start, but this past year it's kind of just been everywhere, and I attributed everything to stress because my body just reacts funny every time I get really stressed out. Last time I got really stressed out, my hair was falling out in clumps. And that was just stress with pregnancy when I was pregnant with my son. Just stuff like that. My body just reacts differently. So this past year, I was an assistant manager at a Walmart. At the beginning of the year, kind of when everything started to happen, I would think happened like February and on. A really good friend of mine that I made while an assistant manager had took a job closer to home, and he was kind of like, he was a person who basically taught me how to be an assistant manager. So he taught me how to coach people, how to do deposits, just how to be an assistant manager. And to lose that person was kind of hard, because we became pretty good friends. And then in February, starting to talk to my sister about things going downhill for her. And then in March, I believe it was March, she had a really big scare, and she was in the hospital. I mean, she's been in the hospital for a while, but this was a time where I was there at the hospital because I got a call from the doctors and nurses saying, you need to come up here, and possibly, it doesn't look good. I don't know if she'll ever make it out. So So we were kind of dealing with that. And, you know, during that stay at the hospitals, when she kind of first expressed to me that she didn't want any more treatments. Her kidneys had stopped working. The blood clots in her lungs were causing her issues, which was the big reason she was in the hospital. Plus she had, you know, bacteria infection in her blood and stuff like that. And it was really, all this was like kind of really affecting her. And, you know, I expressed it in my eulogy to her. I sat and I watched a group of nurses just time after time try to stab this needle that I swear was like this big in her chest, trying to just connect to her port. And she was just so swollen. She was looking at me and she let me know that she did not want to do this anymore. And having that conversation with her that, you know, it's okay. I understand. I can see what you're going through. Your face is just, you know, your eyes are basically swollen shut from the fluid buildup. And I was like, it's okay. But she decided to kind of fight on for a little bit longer. And so I had that going on in like March. And then in March as well. It was like February or March, I can't remember. At that time, I knew that our plan of her getting better and moving into our guest suite downstairs, and, you know, she was excited that Penelope was going to start school and she was going to help us out. And while I was at my assistant manager job, because, you know, I would work 5-6 days a week, pretty long hours, and she was going to help us out and do all that kind of stuff. But at that time, Dave and I talked and we realized that, you know, me starting to think about stepping down would probably be the best offer, because we don't know what's going to go on with my sister. And so I had that stress as well, because anybody who knows me knows I don't like to fail and I don't like to let people down. And I felt like stepping down from my position, I'd be letting my store down. I'd be letting just, you know, the people there down. I was letting myself down, because I've always wanted to be career driven, and I've always put on hold my stuff so I could take care of my family first. And that's okay with me. I wouldn't change it, but it was kind of devastating, you know, because I worked really hard and I worked my way up through the company, and I kind of had to take a step back. It was kind of a letdown to me, but I knew in the end it would be best for my daughter and for my family. We were also going through financial strains, knowing that I would have to step down. In April, I let my store manager know that, you know, stepping down I had to do, because my sister at that time, towards the end of March, let me know that, you know, she was going to do hospice. She didn't want to. She didn't want to do this anymore. She fought a long time and she fought hard, and I don't know how she did it. So I was going through all that stress, and then you know, just the financial strain when I finally did step down. You know, at least, you know, we're paying our bills, but it's hard, and I don't know how we're doing it. But I had this going on this entire year, plus just other stuff, you know, inherent. It was just hard. Very stressful this entire year. In April, you know, I started to get a rash on my arms, and it was like hives when I would get really stressed out, my body would just break out in hives, and I had no idea what was going on. I found a lump on the side of my neck, so that scared me. So I was going to the doctor off and on, trying to figure out what's going on with my body. And, it was just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. That's all I heard. So, again, just all the stress in the past half a year, I just attributed everything that was going weird with my body to stress. And it's a lot, but I finally decided to get a birth control that would benefit me. I'm really bad about taking pills, so being on the pill didn't work for me. I'm not totally comfortable. There was one birth control where like you insert this birth control every like 3 weeks or something like that, and then like a week you take off and blah blah blah. It seemed like a lot of maintenance to me, so I wasn't very comfortable with that because I'm not a professional, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd be able to do this. I barely remember to take birth control pills or whatever, so I didn't want to mess that up. So I decided to go with an IUD. Decided to go with Mirena, and I was excited because my insurance was going to cover 100% of it, and I was like, oh, awesome, cool. I don't ever want to have kids anymore, so, that lasts for 5 years. It's going to be great. I have my 2 kids, and I love them to death, but, I just don't need anymore. And, so I was pretty excited that my insurance would cover that 100%, and it's just something I wouldn't have to maintenance. There were some side effects taken to consideration, but I decided to go that route. So I go into my regular family doctor, and she was going to insert it, but she had some complications because my cervix was turned. She said it was turned a weird way, and she didn't have the tools to try to turn it and insert it properly. So she referred me to an OBGYN and go to their office, and they had the tools to mess with it. So fast forward 2 weeks later, going to the OBGYN, and he's going to put the Mirena in, and he did, but at the same time, he saw something that was a bit concerning to him, because the Mirena went in fine, but he saw like a growth on my cervix, and so he was concerned. So he sent out that for a biopsy, and this happened this past Monday. He sent out that for a biopsy, the tissue, and come Thursday, it's probably like 10 something at work, and I get a phone call, and I missed it because my volume was down, and by the time I realized that my phone was going off in my back pocket, I had already missed the call, and I was just waiting for the voicemail to pop up. And then I was like, oh, let me just wait till my lunch. So at about 11:30, I called I listened to the voicemail, and it was actually Dr. Hendersall himself on the voicemail, and he said I needed to call him and talk to him specifically. And that kind of had me a little worried, because I know in the past, I anytime I would have test results, no doctor would ever call me. They would post it to my chart on my community, and I would kind of look at it there. If I was concerned about something, I would call, and I would just speak to the nurse. But to have the doctor on my voicemail was kind of just alarmed me. And I called back to the office, And they were kind of like, why would a doctor be calling you? I wish I could have played the voicemail because I wasn't lying. I mean, the doctor did call me. He told me to call him back and ask for him specifically. So, he was in a room, of course, and so they said that Linda, the nurse, would speak to you. So they sent me through to Linda, the nurse, and she didn't pick up, and it went to voicemail. And so I was just, on my lunch. I didn't really let anybody know. I kind of just, let's see what's going on. And I was driving back to work, and I actually pulled into the parking lot at work, and my phone went off, and it was Dr. Henderzaw, and I picked it up, and he said, hi, Patricia, this is Dr. Henderzaw, and I needed to speak to you about something. And you always know something's going to be wrong because you just have that feeling, and you can hear it in their voice. And he was just kind of like, I really need to speak to you. Can you come in today? And I'm like, oh God, this is like a freaking scene from a movie. Go into the doctor's office and get bad news or whatever. And I've never had to come into the doctor's office for it. So I said, well, I'm at work today. I don't think I get off. I'm thinking in my mind, I could probably get off because my management team is awesome and they're understanding, but I would be losing that money, and I really need that money at this point. But he said, do you think you could get off? I said, I'll try. I'm coming back from lunch. Let me talk to them. He's like, we really need to see you today. Let me know what time you'll be coming in. Call back and let the people know what time you'll be coming in because I really need to speak to you. This is very serious. And he said, and if you have anybody that you can bring, I would suggest that you do. And I kept it together while on the phone. And I tried to play it off like it was really cool. But it really scared me. And I was like, oh wow, this does sound serious. And he said, yeah, Patricia, it is. So Dave was trying to get some sleep because he had work, but at the same time, we had a showing of the house because we're trying to sell our house. And we had a showing, so I knew he was at the park with little Dave. And I kept trying to call, and he wasn't picking up because I kind of wanted him to come, but at this point I just needed to go because I needed to find out. So so I called back to the office and said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. It's just down the road from where I work. Dr. Henderzaw said to let him know when I would be here, and the scheduling people are like thrown off because I don't know if this doesn't happen very often, but like, Dr. Henderzaw told you to call? And I'm like, again, yes, he told me to call. He told me to call back to let them know when I would be there, and I can be there in 20 minutes. So I pull up to Community Hospital North and walk across the parking garage, walk across the hospital, and I am in the waiting room, just kind of chilling and hanging out, and they call me back, and the nurse that's there, she was super nice. She said, Dr. Henderzaw got some results back. He wanted to talk to you about it. I don't know what they are, but I knew she knew what they were. She just didn't want me to ask. So I was just trying to be like real cool. And say, And I said, oh, okay, I'll just wait for Dr. Henderson. She said he's probably just right outside waiting to come in. So he kind of was. She left the room and I was sitting there, and probably like a minute later he knocked on the door and he came in. And he sat down and he said, so I sent that tissue out that I found in your cervix. And he said it came back. And then you see his shoulders just slump. And it's like in his mind he was thinking, I just need to tell her. So I'm sitting there and I see this all happening. And he says they came back. And I hate to tell you this, but you have cancer. And to hear that word and to hear that I had it, my body just went, the best way to describe it was just went tunnel vision. And the only thing I could think of in that moment was, my God, I have kids. I just automatically started thinking about them and what this means. They're not old enough to understand, but I'm old enough to understand the risks and everything that comes along with this. I lost my mother when I was 20 years old. And it devastated me. It broke me to pieces. I couldn't imagine losing a mother when you're 5 and 4 years old. They barely understood that their Aunt Nana is not coming back. How are they going to comprehend that their mother may not? And I know it's bad to think about death automatically, but you don't hear the word cancer and think, oh, good, yeah, cool, that's cool, cancer, awesome. You hear cancer and you think of everybody in your family and your friends that heard that word and didn't come back. So in that moment, the only thing I could think about was them. And then I started to think about, I've never been sick in my entire life. I've always been the healthy one. I don't get sick. I don't get the flu. I don't get anything. I don't get sick. I've been healthy my entire life. For me to be sick, it's just the farthest thing that would ever come to my mind. I had a pap smear back in 2013. Everything was normal. Nothing was abnormal. Nothing came back concerning to anyone. 2014, I didn't really go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor because I don't get sick. This past year, I've been to the doctor on and off because of all the weird things that was happening to my body. But then I was just kind of stunned. I was just like, I just had blood work done a month ago, and they were looking for. I was concerned that I had cancer because the lump on my neck. That was concerning to me. On my lymph node, it was concerning. So they did blood work. It didn't come back cancerous, and he said, unfortunately, this type of cancer, it wouldn't show up in your blood. It's something that would show up through a pap smear or, what he saw when he was inserting my birth control. And I was like, jeez. I was just like, God damn it. Of course it wouldn't show my blood work because that would be, just too convenient for me. So, I'm not sure what stage or the prognosis of anything. He was just going through some of the things that could happen. Surgery, so a hysterectomy could possibly happen. Chemo, radiation, just depending on where it is. I go to my first doctor's appointment with the cancer doctor on Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. Hopefully I'll know more then. I don't know. I'm fully prepared for them to tell me that the best way to get rid of this is just, to take everything out. Just take your whole reproductive system out. And I'm okay with that. If that'll take care of it. I don't want it to be too late where it just gets harder. If they could just take everything out, that would be great. I don't mind. I don't want any more kids. I've had my two, and they're like the best kids in the entire world. Like, just take out everything that I don't need. I hear you don't need a spleen. Let's go ahead and take that out too. Let's go ahead and take out my pancreas, or appendix, because I think you need your pancreas. Let's go ahead and take out my appendix in case that decides to explode one day. Just take it all out. I don't want it. I still got tons of stuff to do. I'm only 28 years old. And I am scared out of my mind. And I feel bad because it's not a great time for this to come. We're already struggling financially, and I would hate to put an even bigger burden on Dave. Because he's already stressed at work, and we're stressed trying to sell this house because, we can't afford it anymore. And we're stressed trying to, just do all this stuff. And for this to come up, it's just kind of like, if I have to take off work and if I have to miss work, it's going to be even harder. But if it's what I have to do for this to be gone, then I'm okay with that. I'm just a type of person who doesn't like to be a burden to people. And I don't know how. I just don't want to put that extra pressure on Dave because I can't even imagine what he's going through. This extra stress as well. And he's super though, because he's just, he's like, I just don't want, I just want to be there for you. And, you know, he's fully prepared to take on that role. And, it's going to be a hard journey. But hopefully it's something that will just be over soon, and that I can beat this. Like I said, I'm super scared. I've never been sick in my entire life. In the coasters of emotion that I'm going through, you know. Like I said, I've never been sick in my entire life, and I've worked hard to be where I am today. And I'm a pretty good person. It just sucks that this is another setback. And I thought, and I remember telling Dr. Henderson, I remember thinking it in my head, but then I remember telling him, I was like, just crying, and I just kept thinking, but I have kids. As if cancer doesn't happen to people who have kids. And all I could think about was them. But this is hard. And it was hard telling my family, my brothers, because we lost our mother, and she was everything to us. Then we lost our sister in June, and that was hard for them, I'm sure. And then to have to tell them this, it was kind of like, 2015, you suck. So, I wanted to let you all know, because you all are my friends, and I'm just gonna try to create a video journal. I saw this one thing online, because I just, you know, Google or YouTube everything to try to find out information, and it's some scary stuff out there to read and to see the statistics and to realize, you know, that cervical cancer can be a silent killer, and it's scary, especially that I don't know what stage I'm in, and, you know, what the outlook for that stage looks like. And everybody's different, but it's just like, oh, what can we do, you know? So, I just thought it would be kind of cool to tell my story and to kind of video record my journey like this one lady was doing. I've watched like all her videos, and she kind of had a pretty shitty journey because her husband left her and all this kind of stuff, and I just felt horrible for her. And I just remember sitting there crying and thinking, you know, she was video posting about her through her radiation, and she just looked drained and like a total different person, and it hurt to watch. But at the same time, she kind of inspired me to kind of videotape my journey, and hopefully it's a short one, and hopefully it's successful. But I mentioned I was super scared. But I know I have a lot of support. through my family, through Dave's family. Britt's family is super awesome. And if I ever need anything, you know me, I hate to ask, but this, so gross. This is a little different, and I'll definitely be asking if I need anything. Anyway, I'll probably post another video on, hopefully Wednesday. I know some more about what's going on and where I am, and hopefully I can post another update. I actually have a YouTube channel that I post, memorial videos on, or just random stuff of my kids. So I'm going to start posting these videos on there to just record my journey. And I apologize for the tears. And I hope you all have a good day.